All right, my first live stream. Let's go live. So, one of the main questions we ask is how is the smartphone industry different from all those other tech industries like, let's say, laptops, tablets, smartwatches, right? So, for one thing, the smartphone industry is very competitive. You know, company X trying to jab at company Y jabs at company Z. So basically, the smartphone industry is competitive and chaotic. But while while making the smartphone industry competitive would also mean constant jabs at each other, but in the end, it would benefit us, the end user. As one company tries to outdo each other, who will benefit? The end user, the customer, us. Two, because the smartphone industry is really competitive, you will see smartphones whose next version will have changes, obviously. And because of that, because of the smartphone has having changes, one thing each company will almost all smartphone companies make like a version. Okay, let's say okay, take it this. Let's use a made up phone name so I don't get sued by any company. Let's say today I launched the Techxpense phone 1.0, right? So next year I'll launch the Techxpense phone 2.0, which will maybe have a slightly better screen and a better camera and a better battery. But the looks will be the same, major thing will be the same, and I'll sell that for a more inflated price. So basically, that's how the smartphone company works. Which I don't blame anyone for that because everyone's trying to do some business here, right? Which is completely fair since these companies run on business, right? Companies don't just become a $1 trillion company by selling cheap phones. Not I'm aware of. I mean, Apple's a $1 trillion company and they don't sell a lot of cheap phones except for the iPhone SE, right? So that's one thing. It takes about 3 to 4 years for a manufacturer to completely change their phone, right? Over here, I'm gonna give the example of the iPhone, right? But I'm not offending any company. Any offending is not intentional, right? Anyways, so what I'm trying to say is the iPhone, the original iPhone to the iPhone 5 was mainly the same. The iPhone 6 till the iPhone 8 Plus was mainly the same, right? No major redesigns. So that's what I'm saying. Major redesigns happen only once in a while. And it's not like that for only with Apple, it's like that with all major tech companies and with also the tech biggies, namely Samsung, Apple, Google, Microsoft, that I'm aware of. So that's that. Now, if you're going to ask me, what do you want for a smartphone? What what I want for a smartphone? Or let's say if I ask you, what major points do you want in a smartphone? First of all, for some people, smartphones might be toys, right? You could use a feature phone, but for you, maybe a smartphone is a toy. But for most of the working people, a smartphone is basically a tool to make their job easier so that you could mail even from your phone. You could take photos of documents. You could video call people for conferences. You could take conferences from your phone. That's what phones were designed in for. That's what the designer the main manufacturers of phones keep in mind that they will be able to keep up with the needs of the commercial people, the people who use their phones as tools for conferencing, for a little bit of conferencing, light mailing, right, emailing stuff, and taking photos for documents. Now, obviously, companies do try to make better than that, right? They do. But one of the main things we want as people who use smartphones as tools and not as toys, we don't really care about the specs, right? We don't care about how fast the processor is, if I've got the latest Snapdragon 88, or if I've got 18 gigs of RAM, or if I've got the best camera in town. No. For us, we want a camera good enough to take pictures of documents and of our loved ones when we need to. We need a screen that looks fine for light conferencing. We need a phone which can fit in our one hand so we can lightly type, right? We need a phone with good battery life, as because we're going to use the phone as a tool. It needs to last the whole day. We might not have time to charge it later on. That's what people who use phones as tools need it for. Nobody who wants to use their phone as a tool will go looking like, okay, iPhone 12 has a 12 megapixel camera. I'm just giving an example here, okay? Just giving an example. Or you know what, I'm just not gonna mention any iPhone, okay? Okay, I'm just gonna be like, okay, phone X has a better camera than phone Y. I should buy the phone X. That's not how people who use their smartphones as tools are gonna be like. That's gonna be enthusiasts or people who use their phones as toys who don't really need them, or people like me, enthusiasts. End of the day, phones are designed for the people who use them as tools, right? And which is good, but that is to be kept in mind. People who use their phones as tools don't want the most expensive, the fastest processor, the most amount of RAM, the best camera. They just want something that they need. Oh, that didn't come out right. They'll only buy what they need. They want a camera that'll just pass them by. It works, then it works. They'll just want a screen, not over the top, but which just passes them by. They want a camera. Oh, already did that. They want a battery which lasts for a day. That's what they want. They want performance which passes them by. They want something which passes them by. You know why? Rhyming. Because the main people who are trying to use their phones as tools don't have money to throw around, not the time. Let's say a person who uses their phone as a tool goes and buys an iPhone 12 Pro Max. It will be expensive, but the phone will be wasted. You know why? Because the LiDAR sensor won't be needed, and the person would only use the cameras for document scanning. Right? The screen, doesn't need to be that sharp, because why? So overall the phone will be wasted. That's why. And the money will be wasted right along. Now that to be kept in mind. That's the point. But smartphone industry, the smartphone manufacturers still try to do better than that, because improving their product is good because they want to sell more models. And that's that. Now basically, if you're gonna ask me why do they make minor upgrades and sell basically the same thing with a few minor upgrades the next year? I'm not referring to any company here. Please don't sue me. Yeah. So basically, they're doing that because they want to earn money, which is fine. Look, when a company makes products. They have a lot of things to pay for. R&D, testing, employees, factories, designs, everything. Now, once a product a year, one or okay, maybe one or two products a year, that will barely get them by. Because at the starting, the product will sell like crazy. But after 7 to 8 months, maybe not so. That's why. So that they can keep funding their R&Ds, their employees, right? You gotta feed the employees, otherwise company goes down in the drain. That's the main reason. And that is also because that is also the reason why you get a major smartphone change in like 3 or 4 years. Because most companies don't have that much budget for R&D, research and development. Every company has a budget for R&D. It's expensive. R&D is expensive. Software development is expensive. That is why not every company tries to make their own software. A few minor changes to stock Android, fine. Okay, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Techxpense for the tech savvy. Bye. No, I don't end with bye. Oh, yeah. Techxpense for the tech savvy. I look good. I sound